A very good morning to all the students. This video for the class 7 subject science chapter number 12, that is reproduction in plants. This is your lecture number 2nd. Next is the topics to be covered. So I am going to cover the topic of this chapter. The first topic is the sexual reproduction in plants. We have already seen the asexual reproduction in plants in the previous lecture. Second is what is a pollination. Third one is the types of the pollination. Fourth topic is the fertilization in the plants. Fifth one, how the fruits and the seed formed, and fruit and the seed formation. Next is the seed dispersal, how the seed dispersed. So let us begin this lecture with the first topic, that is sexual reproduction in plants. So the flower of a plant are its reproductive organs that participate in the sexual reproduction process. So in the sexual reproduction, or the reproductive part in the plant, the male reproductive part of a plant are stamen, and the female reproductive part of the plant are called as pistil or carpel. So flower are the reproductive organ in the flowering plant. Flower is said to be a modified part of a plant for the sexual reproduction. Okay, a typical flower has the 4 important parts that present at the base of the flower. So next is the structure of stamen. Here the stamen is a male reproductive part of a flower. So each stamen has a 2 part. Okay, first is anther, second is filament. This bilobed structure is anther and this stalk is filament. This is the male reproductive part in a flower plant. So in filament, this filament is a long, a slender part that carries the anther on the top. Okay, this filament carries this anther on the top. And anthered is a 2-lobed structure. They are the 2-lobed here, first one and the second one. So it's a 2-lobed, or we can see the bilobed structure that is present on the tip of the filament. So each anther contains the pollen sac, or in pollen sacs their pollen grains are present which produce the male gamete or the male sex cell. Pollen grain is a male gamete. Okay, this is the structure of stamen. Next important part is about the pistil or the carpel. Pistil is a female reproductive part of a flower, or the carpel is a female reproductive part. In male, the stamen is a male reproductive part, but in female, carpel or pistil is a female reproductive part. Okay, so each pistil has the 3 parts: stigma, this style, and ovary. First, stigma is the uppermost part which receive the pollen grains. Like pollen grains are the male gamete. The stigma receive the male gamete, that is the pollen grain. So style form the neck of the pistil and it attach to the stigma. Style function is it attach the stigma and hold the ovule and ovary also. Third is ovary. Ovary forms the lowermost swollen part. It contains 1 or more ovules. These are the ovules. These circular in structure or oval shaped structures are ovules that is present in ovary. Okay, so it contains 1 or more ovule. So each ovule contains the female gamete, that is called an egg. Female gamete here is egg. In male, the male gametes are pollen grains. In pistil or in carpel, the female gametes are the egg. Okay. Next, there are the various types of the flowers. Some flower contain both stamen and pistil and are called bisexual flower. Okay, so bi means both, Sexual means the reproductive part. So both reproductive parts are present, like stamen and pistil is bisexual flower. Okay, for example, lily, rose, brinjal, hibiscus, petunia, mustard, etc. These are the example of bisexual flower. Next is unisexual flower. So uni means one and sexual means the reproductive parts. A flower that has only one reproductive part, either only the stamen or either a pistil, either only a stamen or the pistil. So it's called unisexual flower. For example, papaya, watermelon, cucumber, coconut. So these are the example of unisexual flower. Okay, male flower only stamen is present. In female flower only the pistil is present. Okay, male and female flower may be present on the same plant. That is a unisexual flower. Next is how the male gamete reach to the female gametes in plants. So the male and the female gamete fuse with each other and form a zygote. Okay. Then the male gamete reach the female gamete by the process of pollination. So the pollen grains have the tough covering which allows them in surviving the different climatic conditions. Next, this process of transfers of pollen grain from one stigma to another is called pollination. So first is the transfers of pollen grain, a male gamete from the anthers of a flower to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. Okay, as you can see in this picture, the transfers of the pollen grains by the help of the bee or by the insect from anther of a flower to the stigma of a flower is called pollination. So after the pollen grains are shed from anther, they can reach to the stigma part. Okay, by the numbers of means like the insect or by the wind, any other factors. So flower could be self-pollinated or the cross-pollinated. First, this pollinator, this insect visit flower and collect the nectar from that flower. When this insect is collecting the nectar from this flower, so pollen is rubbed onto their body. So when the pollinator carries pollen on its body to another flower, so pollen is deposited on the stigma. In that process, pollination is occur. Pollination is transfers of the pollen grains. Pollen grains are the male gamete, anther of a flower to the stigma. Okay, transfer of pollen grains from the anther of a flower to the stigma of a flower, that is pollination. Next is about the types of pollination. There are the two types of pollination. First is the self-pollination. When the pollen grains land on the stigma of the same flower, that is self-pollination. Here you can easily see that the pollination of a flower by the pollen from the same flower or another flower on the same plant, that is self-pollination. Okay, it occurs when these are the pollen grains present on the anther. So when the pollens of a flower land on the stigma of the same flower, okay, it generally doesn't require any external agency. So self-pollination is when the pollen of a flower lands on the stigma of the same flower, that is self-pollination, or we can say the autogamy. Okay, next is the cross-pollination. So yeah, in cross-pollination, when the pollen grains land on the stigma from a different flower. Okay, from here there are the several pollen grains are present. When they land to the another stigma of a different flower, whether of a similar kind or the different kind, that is cross-pollination. When pollens of a flower land on the stigma of another flower of a same species of a plant, that is cross-pollination. In cross-pollination, it requires the external agencies like external factors like wind, water, insect and birds. That is cross pollination, and it's also known as xenogamy. Next is about the fertilization process. So immediately after the pollination, a zygote is formed as a fusion between the male and female gametes occurs. Okay, immediately after the pollination, what will happen? These pollen grains lands on the stigma. Okay, so then this process of formation of zygote is called as fertilization. Then the zygote develops and turn in an embryo. So you can easily understand about this fertilization by this picture. Firstly, what will happen after the pollination? When the pollen grains lands on the stigma, a pollen tube is arising from the pollen grains. Here the pollen grains are present. Okay, so from the pollen grains, a tube arises from the pollen grains. So each pollen tube has male gamete. Okay, each pollen tube has a male gamete. Then these pollen tube elongates and grow through the style and to reach to the ovary where the ovule is present. From here, from the pollen, when its pollen tube has the male gamete and it reaches to the ovary part where the ovules is present. Okay, the female part is present. So pollen tube enter the ovule and release its male gamete. From this pollen tube, thus male gametes are present, and these pollen tube enter the ovule and release its male gamete into the female gamete. Okay, and the male gamete fuses with the female gamete. Here the male gametes are the pollen grains, and these are the egg cells are present in the ovule, that is the female gamete. When male gamete and female gamete fuse with each other in the ovule, then they form a zygote. That zygote is formed and it's known as fertilization process. Okay, when the male gamete fuses with the female gamete to form a zygote, that is fertilization. After how the fruits and seed formation. So after this fertilization, this zygote develops into an embryo. Okay, and the ovary grows into a fruit and ovules grow into seed. Ovary grow into fruit and ovule grow into seed. So that's how this fruit and seed formed. Firstly, after the fertilization process, the ovary of the flower grows and develop into a fruit. This ovary grow into fruit and ovule grow into seed. Then the remaining parts of the flower falls off and the ovule develops and form the seed of the fruit. So the embryo is enclosed inside the seed. Some fruits are fleshy and juicy, such as mango, apple, orange. Some fruits are hard like almond and walnut. So this is about the fruit and seed formation. After the fertilization process, ovary develops into the fruit and ovule forms the seed of the fruit. Okay. Next is about the seed dispersal. Here, seed dispersal means to disperse the seed. When the transportation of seed from the parent plant to the different places is called seed dispersal. Or the seed dispersal of seed means the scattering of seed. Seed dispersal of seed is very important, because if all the seed fall at the same place close to the parent plant, then the seedling will not get enough nutrient from the soil to grow. So they will start competing for sunlight, space, water and nutrient. Okay, and they will not grow into the healthy plants. So seed dispersal allow the growth of the same kind of the plant in different regions. So this is helpful because it minimizes the competition for the food, sunlight, water, mineral and among the plants of the same kind in the same area. It also allows them to grow in a different habitat. So many seed and fruits are modified in number of ways and have the special dispersal mechanism to get scattered by wind, by water, by animal. Okay. So now you see that how the dispersion of seed occurs in different plants. So first is the distribution factors. What are the factors responsible for the distributions of the seed? So here in the plant, the drumstick, maple, and the wing seed, grasses, hairy seed, egg, and sunflower, the distribution factor is wind. Through the winds, these seeds are dispersed. Okay, the seed of the drumstick and the maple, the hairy fruit of the sunflower, and hairy seeds of the madar or the ark. These are dispersed by the help of winds. Next in the second plant is coconut. Here the dispersal mechanism or the distribution factors is dispersed by water. So seed and the fruit have the spongy or the fibrous layer to trap the air. So they become light and they can float in water easily. These are the important features. For example, in coconut. Next is in animal, that is dispersed by the animal. The dispersal mechanism is by the factor is by the animal. So like in xanthium, the seeds are spiny with hook by which they get attached to the fur of animal and get carried to distant place, to the different place. That's why they dispersed. Seeds of the xanthium are spiny with the hooks by which they get attached to the fur of the animal and they get carried to the different places. This is how seed dispersal in xanthium. Okay. Next is about the homework solution of lecture number 1. Question number first is fungus, moss and fern reproduce by a common method of asexual reproduction. So you have to name the methods how the fungus, moss and ferns reproduce by asexual reproduction. So fungus, moss and fern reproduce by the spore formation. Spore are the asexual reproductive bodies. Okay, here in the sporangium, each spore is a microscopic structure with a thick wall. So it is well protected with the stand unfavorable condition like dryness, very low and high temperature. So on finding the favorable condition, each spores can germinate into a new plant. Okay, they germinate in a new plant only when the favorable conditions are there. Next is the question number 2. Explain the different types of reproduction. There are the two types of reproduction, asexual reproduction and sexual reproduction. Here in asexual reproduction, the new plants are produced without using the seed. Okay, and in this process generally the leaves, stems and root participate in the reproduction. Firstly, in asexual reproduction, only the new plants are formed from the vegetative parts. Here the vegetative parts are leaves, stems, roots. These are the vegetative parts, and plant is produced without the formation of seed. That is asexual reproduction. Next is the sexual reproduction. In sexual reproduction, new plants are formed from the seed of the plant. Okay, and flowers are reproductive organ that produce the seed. Here only the reproductive parts are there with produced with the help of the seed. In this process, flower of the plant participate in the reproduction process. This is sexual reproduction. Okay. Next is homework of this lecture number 2. The first question is the pollination refers to. You have to define the pollination. What is pollination? Second is when you keep food item like bread, fruit outside for the longer time, especially during the rainy season, you will observe a cotton growth on them. So what is this growth called? And second is how does growth takes place? Okay, and how does growth takes place in these fruits and bread? Question number 3 is define the seed dispersal in different plants like xanthium and coconut and the maple seeds. So you have to define the seed dispersal and their example. Okay, so yeah, this is it about this lecture. Hope you have understood this lecture. Thank you and have a nice day.